there were some surprises in this list, but the highest surprise was Chase Claypool tying for wide receiver 5 so far on the week. Claypool caught all of his targets, 7 targets, 96 receiving yards. He had a touchdown, and he also had a rushing attempt for 8 yards. Chase Claypool, this was a Chase Claypool game. It was not a Deontay Johnson game. Deontay Johnson right now, wide receiver 45, and Pickens isn't even in the top 50. So, Chase Claypool will have these occasional spike weeks. We saw a couple years ago, Chase Claypool have double-digit touchdowns, former second-round pick out of Notre Dame. If we look back during his rookie year, right, Chase Claypool did finish as the wide receiver 1 overall week 5 in 2020. He also had, a wide receiver 15 finish that year, wide receiver 12 finish, wide receiver 13 finish, wide receiver 16 finish, weekly finishes that year. But looking at what he did last season, there were no top 10 performances for Chase Claypool last season. The best he could do was top 12 week 5 against Denver, where he scored a touchdown. He had 6 targets, 5 receptions, 130 yards. So, I think we're finally going to see a couple more ceiling games for Chase Claypool. It's nice to see that he caught all of his targets. He's been pretty inconsistent in his career catching passes from the quarterbacks. So this was an encouraging game for Chase Claypool, catching all 7 of his targets. Not super heavily targeted, but it's nice to see. And on the complete flip side, a player who got to 19.9 fantasy points, but in a different way, is Michael Pittman, also wide receiver 5, but he had 9 more targets, 6 more receptions, and he had 38 more receiving yards than Chase Claypool, still finished with the same fantasy points